Do you have any advice or resources for caregivers? They may not have a medical background, but
Yeah,
they're devoted, they're taking care of their parent or their spouse.
sure.
What can they do? Because they are there all day, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, there are two tools, validated assessment tools, that I think are central to kind of working in this field and dealing with dementia. And one of them was developed in the perioperative setting, the Richmond Agitation Sedation Scale, or RASS. I think of it as a thermometer, and the 0 point is the point where we are alert and calm. That's someone who's taking in the environment, they're aware of what's going on, they're not distressed in any way. And then kind of going up from that, the way like a temperature rises, we go from alert and calm to restless. And restless could be someone who they look fidgety, they're biting their nails, they're tapping, they can't sit still, they're tapping their fingertips, they're, like this, they're kind of nudgy, as my mother would say. But it's kind of like contained. So that's like +1. +2 in RASS is called agitated, but it's very specific. Agitated in the context of RASS means non-purposeful movement. You were describing the grabbing. That's, how does that make sense? That's non-purposeful. Or ineffective movement, like someone who's trying to get out of bed, but they've wedged themselves between the two side rails. You and I, if we were sitting there like, okay, I want to get out of this bed, we'd figure it out. But when someone's agitated and, they're trying to get out and they really can't pull it off. Then the next level up in RASS is very agitated. And very agitated means they're a danger that they could hurt themselves. Someone who's thrashing around in bed or could throw themselves out of bed, or they're pulling out an IV or pulling at their Foley. They could hurt themselves. That qualifies as very agitated. And then the top of the scale is combative. That's when you or I could get hurt. Then going in the other direction from 0 down, you've got -1, which is drowsy. Someone who's drowsy, they're there with their eyes closed. You use your voice, you say, hey, Jerry, wake up. It's time to take your meds. I open up my eyes. I can verbally interact with you. I can follow simple commands. I'll take the pills. I'll drink the water. And, and it lasts for more than 10 seconds. And then we're done. And I kind of like go back. So I'm drowsy. Then the next levels, -2, 3, and 4, are levels of sedation, mild, moderate, or deep. And mildly sedated is like procedural sedation for wisdom teeth or a colonoscopy, where I can hear voices and I can kind of cooperate with simple commands. Okay, Jerry, we're going to turn you over. Just grab the side rail, and I can kind of do that. But beyond that, I'm not interacting. So that's mildly sedated. Moderately sedated, the only response to voice is some kind of non-specific. Maybe my eyebrows arch, or I have a facial expression, or I move. Your voice gets through, but we're really not interacting. And then deeply sedated is I don't respond to voice, but physically, if you touch me, I respond. If you squeeze my hand, I might squeeze back. Or in a neurology setting or a neurosurgery setting, we might do something painful to see if they're a withdrawer, right? To see if they're going to come back up from an injury. And then, -5, RASS -5 is like unarousable. There's no response to voice or any kind of physical. And in a way, that kind of descent in RASS is a lot of times what the end of life trajectory looks like, or ideally looks like. People just slowly get deeper and deeper asleep until they're unresponsive. So that's one tool. And the beauty of RASS, and this tool in particular, and tools in general, is it lets the hospice team and the family and the caregivers kind of have a common language. It's like, okay, you don't have a healthcare background, but you're an adult who can learn. And these are some important concepts. And here's the reinforcement. Here's like a resource card with those different levels so that you can say, yeah, he was, he was agitated for a while, but then he was restless and now he's alert and calm. And we know what we're talking about. So that's one tool. The other,
I like that one. I want to start using that one.
it's yeah. If when people are on the same page, it's amazing, what can happen.
What a concept.
When we don't understand each other, well, he said he was agitated, but we got to understand what we're saying.